I mean, I hate Insurrection and I hate Nemesis, but I loved First Contact and I love Generations. I thought Generations was great. And Malcolm McDowell, again, this is like the Benedict Cumberbatch thing. You send Malcolm McDowell in as the bad guy, so I'm like, you pretty much sold me off of that alone.
Yeah. I thought Kirk died like a little punk, which I didn't really care for. And there were things in Generations that were okay. I kind of always felt like Whoopi Goldberg's Guinan deserved more than what she was ever given.
Agreed.
They hinted at so much in the TV show, and then like one day went like, oh yeah, but she's also been in a time ribbon for a long time and isn't nearly powerful enough to defeat a Q in hand-to-hand combat, even though Q acted like she was. But, right. I always kind of felt like they short shrifted her. And then the other thing I didn't like about those movies was, if you watch the TV show, who would you say Picard's number one confidant is?
That's a tough call.
Really?
I know what you're getting at, because I know, like, in the movies, they definitely made it seem like it was Data. But I would say Troy, I guess, right?
You think so? You don't think it would be Beverly Crusher, the woman he was in love with and may have seen
I know he was in love.
Child?
I mean, yes, he was in love with her by far, but But when you say confidant, like, there were definitely. I mean, he couldn't even tell her that he was in love with her.
They had breakfast together every morning. When you go back and you look at the implications of different episodes, they had a very close relationship.
They did. I mean, no doubt. But as I said, like, he couldn't even tell her he loved her until he had lived an entire lifespan in, like, what, a half an hour or whatever.
What's funny is my ex-wife and I, probably a year or two before we got divorced, went through and did like a rewatch of the first 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. And I came away from season 2 absolutely convinced that Picard was Wesley's father.
Yeah.
Not suspicious, convinced, 100%. That is Picard's kid. And that also made me look at like him not being able to like man up and be like, hey, we should go for drinks or something sometime. Is because he's dealing with the guilt of having knocked up his best friend's wife.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I always came away from that. But yeah, if you watch the movies, he loves Data.
Yeah.
He is the bestest of friends ever with Data.
Right.
Yeah, and that didn't quite work out.
Yeah, I agreed. I will say, like, I love the plot that some guy was so crazy that he wanted to destroy a bunch of solar systems just to get back into this thing. I thought that was just, talk about scope and bad guy plot. Like, there are plenty of bad guys want to destroy a world. This guy's destroying solar systems. I just thought that made him like. And again, it's Malcolm McDowell, so I just thought it was the coolest, like, storyline. I just thought that was one of the most gangsters things I've ever heard in a movie.
So when you're dealing with the Nexus Ribbon,
yeah,
could you not fly a ship into it?
They say in the movie, no, you cannot.
Could you transport yourself into it?
Yes, they said you technically can. So, I don't think on purpose, but you can accidentally get ripped out of it in the middle of transport. But that destroys the idea of them being clones.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, huh? I guess okay. Well, no, because the clone would still think it was the original, right?
Well, no, but you can be, while you're in the middle of being beamed somewhere, the Nexus Ribbon can rip you out of the beam.
Yeah, okay. Because I was going to say, wouldn't it be easier just to steal a ship and fly right into it?
Yeah, but yeah, they specifically say in that movie you cannot do that because it destroys inorganic matter.
Okay.
Upon contact.
Yeah, okay. So the only way to do it is destroy a whole bunch of suns until you slam it into the planet you're standing on.
Right. I just thought that was such a cool plot. I just thought that was amazing.
You're right. The scale of that is that is some like Lex Luthor level stuff. I was
gonna say that's like some Dark Phoenix level stuff.
Yes, it's Victor Von Doom. There we go. We'll kind of go in the middle there. So
there we go. Yeah, it's just this thing that gives you like the ideal world that you want, and you'll live forever and just be like, I just thought that I was like, wow. I just thought that was one of the craziest things I've ever heard. So yeah, I always love Generations just for the plot.
Now, let me ask you this: since time has no meaning in there, isn't it possible that somebody could go back in at some point and pull a version of Picard and Kirk out of there?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's a little dangerous thing to have running around then. But I always wondered about that. Somebody should be able to get them out of there. And shouldn't a Guinan been in there, like, ready to help them out, too?
Well, she was taken out of it, though.
Okay.
And the only version of her that exists was an Echo.
Oh, that's right. See, I haven't seen that one in a long time because I did not like it very much.
See, I loved it, and I think there's a lot of good stuff. I understand, like, exactly what you're saying. Like I said, I knew where you're going with the whole data thing, but, like, it's kind of like, believe it or not, like, Wolverine Origins. X-Men Origins Wolverine. I don't hate it because I can get past them ruining characters. It's like, if you can get, I can look at the story just for the story. And it's the same thing with Next Gen, the movies. Like, once you remove how many weird tweaks they've done to characters and just like, but if you just take the movie for what it is, I think there's a lot of good things in there. Like Insurrection and Nemesis, no, there's nothing good in either of those things. Even like, forget about this, like the continuity or whatever. Just take them for what they are. It's like, no, they're terrible.
Oh, the Nemesis especially. I remember taking my kids to see that in the theater, and I was trying to get them into Star Trek at the time, and I was leaving thinking they're never ever gonna watch any Star Trek again.
I just couldn't. And also, speaking of, like, because like the movies did try to really make Data the main focal point, or a bigger focal point, but they went backwards with him. It's like he got emotions in generations, and it's like then he just started going slowly, and I guess he got skin in the in First Contact, but then after that, it's like he made no progress. It was almost like they just reset him back to zero, and it's like to try and make it like, we got nothing to do with him now.
Yeah, well, I guess Brent Spiner wanted to get out of that role at that point. Apparently, there was a follow-up script written to that was going to have like bad guys from every show and every era. Like Khan was going to come back. There was just a mess waiting to happen after that. I'm kind of glad that it did so poorly that nobody tried to follow it up. Because the stuff I have seen that could have come after that was just horrifyingly bad.